Thanks for joining us. 7 News is your local election headquarters, and candidates running for president are weighing in on the latest conflict in Israel. Also, South Carolina Senior Senator Lindsey Graham says he believes that Iran had a hand in the attacks. This all comes as Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu says that Israel's offensive against Hamas in the Gaza Strip has only started. Now, according to authorities on each side, the hostilities so far have killed around 900 people in Israel and more than 680 people in Gaza. Coverage begins with Taylor Farmer, who spoke with presidential hopeful Senator Tim Scott, who was in the upstate today. He says the Biden administration is partly to blame for this latest round of attacks on Israel. Taylor, tell us more about that.
Well, that's right, Diane. South Carolina Senator and Republican presidential candidate Tim Scott was in Greenville today. He greeted voters and even answered questions they had about his run for president. But he said while he is out campaigning right now, his focus is on the war in Israel.
The presidential hopeful voiced his concerns with the war on social media prior to his meet and greet in Greenville, calling out President Biden. He continued those remarks today with concern for decision-making in the White House.
Without any question, the weakness of Joe Biden attracts the attacks. The negotiations giving $6 billion to the Iranians, frankly, funds the attack. And then the first comment from the White House was to tell Israel to stand down even after the attack. That makes Joe Biden complicit with these attacks.
Scott tells us the United States has sent $30 billion of military assistance to Israel over the last 10 years. He says our country has prepared them to stand firm.
We have the power, the authority, and the resources to frankly wipe Hamas from the map, and we should stand shoulder to shoulder with them.
Scott says Israel is already equipped with the resources and manpower that they need to win the war, but he says it was his suggestion to equip forces in the Mediterranean to show that the United States will support Israel in this fight. However, Scott also commented on the United States military, pointing out what he calls their issues under the Biden administration.
One of the reasons why the military has been unfocused is because under the Biden administration, we've allowed for social experimentation, whether it's mandates or gender issues or abortion policy, to seep into the soil of our military. What they need and what they deserve from the commander-in-chief is someone who's focused on lethality and bringing our troops home safe.
Scott tells us he believes this could be a long-fought war, but the United States will continue to support Israel's fight. Live in Greenville, Taylor Farmer, 7 News.
Now, Sunday, U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken pushed back, stating Iran has not yet been able to spend a single dollar of the $6 billion in funds that were unfrozen in the U.S.-Iran prisoner swap.